Hey everybody, welcome back to ESA Summer Online. We're here raising money for Alzheimer's Funding, and links to donate can be found just below the stream. We'd also like to thank Kaspersky, Twitch, and ViewSonic for sponsoring this event. Now, before we get going with this next run by Riolu doing TrackMania, we do have one donation that came in. We've got $50 from LP No Name Game, who says, "Hello Riolu, enjoy your content. Have a great run, and do you remember LPP Mick? Well, it's me. So thank you so much for your generosity, and, take it away."
All right, here we are with TrackMania, the third game in the European Speedrunner Assembly 2020. And we're here for the most recent installment of the TrackMania franchise. We are going to see the stadium environment, which you've already seen with Virtual's run in TrackMania Nations Forever. And what we have here is a new, refined version of the game with less bugs, more consistency, and generally a more modern gameplay. So I'm going to be showing you 50 tracks in total, with 25 tracks in the training campaign, which is basically kind of an introduction where you guys get to see the basics and learn a bit about the mechanics and all the different surfaces that you drive on. And then we also have 25 tracks in the Summer 2020 campaign, which you can see over there, which is basically the real deal, the game itself, the 25 official tracks that people compete on a regular base. And I am going to show you all of these tracks right here. I'm ready to go, so if you guys are ready, then I will just kick it away right here with the first track. So 3, 2, 1, go! Alright, so this is the first track in training. It is super basic, as you can see. I'm not sure if you've already seen it on the thumbnail, but basically all there is are corners. That's all there is. So the first couple tracks, as I said, they are an introduction, so you guys basically just get to see all the different surfaces, get to know how the car handles, because that is a very important thing about TrackMania. You really need to know how to handle the car and how to, you know, predict how the car is gonna behave on certain occasions and certain corners. And you've already seen road, you've seen dirt, and now we have a new one, which is ice. And the ice, as you can imagine, is really slippery. You barely have any grip on it, and you really need to make sure that you kind of use your momentum and use physics to your advantage to stick to the bobsled and to keep maximum grip. There isn't a lot of grip to work with, but you get the idea. You still want to get around corners, and there are certain techniques that I will get to later on. But in the beginning, you just play and get to discover the crazy stuff that TrackMania has to offer, like this looping, where you breeze through with a lot of speed, and that's pretty much it. So you just learn the basic lines pretty much. How do you drive certain corners? How much speed can you carry through? When is the car going to turn? How much is it going to turn? And now we're being introduced to the very first kind of bonus block, which is engine off. You've seen it on the screen. It popped up for a short moment. It is this red block on the road, which turns off your engine unless or until you reach the next checkpoint or the finish line or a reset block. And now we are going into the air. We're going to fly. We're going to turn our car into a little flying machine here with the so-called Reactor Boost. The Reactor Boost can be used on different occasions. We will get to it later, so I'm actually not going to talk about it too much to not take away too much of the charm and the spark that these Reactor Boosts can actually cause. So we're still discovering all the basics here. This track will have a no steering block. So at this point you can see my inputs in the top right corner as well. That is a little thing that I was able to add. And you can see my inputs as well. So while as soon as you touch that block, your steering is completely locked. So you only go straight and you can accelerate and brake, but that's about it. So you need to pick your line very carefully in order not to bonk in any of those pillars. And now your high-speed skills are going to be put to a little test here with some red boosts, the super turbo as they call them here in this game, where you just go very fast. You go vroom vroom fast on those, and you want to make sure that you don't hit any walls, of course. So the goal of TrackMania is to collect all the medals. There are 4 medals in the game. For those who watch the TrackMania runs, you probably know what I'm talking about already, but for those who don't, we have 4 different medals. We start with bronze, go to silver, gold, and then the green one, the author medal as we call it, which is the time that the map builder set for his own track. And that is the best medal you can beat. And of course, on the training maps, you kind of want to go for that to show that you have mastered what it takes on these different tracks. So now we've gone through a little wall. On the walls, it's important to stay as low as possible. You don't want to slide a lot. Just minimize the time you're on that actual wall. And speaking of walls, this is a steep one. And the Reactor Boost helps us to basically drive 90 degrees up without any speed loss pretty much. So the Reactor Boost can either make you fly or it makes you stick to the ground. So there are two different types of Reactor Boosts basically. And as I said, we will see a lot of them later on. Fragile is the next one on the list here. You see, the car didn't really change too much, but now it might. Now it was wobbling a little bit. So the Fragile block basically turns your car into a shopping cart as soon as you land badly or crash into a wall. The Fragile block, as the name suggests, it makes the car fragile and very vulnerable to mistakes or to bad landings. And that is something which is also new to TrackMania. It didn't exist before, similarly to the Reactor Boost or the ice, also didn't exist before. So these are things that have actually been added with the 2020 TrackMania, which I'm playing right here, which you can also try for free in Uplay and the Epic Game Store. If you guys are interested in that, TrackMania, super fun game. We have an amazing community as well. And I'm sure the amazing community has already contributed quite a lot to the good cause here for the ESA, which is, of course, a very, very amazing thing. We have 25 tracks, and we're now at track 18. The tracks are becoming a little longer, a little more complex, because, of course, these tracks act as a tutorial. So you do want to go as fast as possible and put what you've learned to a test. So now we have these elevated roads where you want to make sure not to catch airtime, because getting your car sent into the air is usually a bad thing, because the car accelerates best when you're on the ground, of course, and you want to try to optimize that as much as possible. 19 is probably the hardest one, so I actually will have to focus for this one, because ice is very difficult. And you need to make sure to not fly out. You need perfect speed, and you want to get as far as possible to the top. Because the physics are basically going to push you into the corner and keep you at the highest point, basically, to maintain maximum speed. So luckily I didn't, like, clip anything there, because in practice that actually happened a lot to me. But I'm happy it actually worked out, and we can move on with the next track. And this one is going to merge the surfaces. So you can really see we have some type of progression in the training series here. So we have a bit of this, a bit of that, a bit of ice as well. Gonna slide around, stay at the top, and then we bop it into the finish for track 20. 5 tracks are remaining. The tracks are gonna get even longer, so now we have 2 corners, 2 180-degree corners, where you want to drift. You do drift by steering into the direction of the corner and then holding the brake. The longer you hold the brake, the tighter and the longer your drift is going to be. And there are certain requirements to that drift. You need minimum speed, roughly 200, a little bit less, and you need a certain amount of steering angle to actually initiate that slide. Because what the brake does is that it brings the car out of balance. But the brake is only strong enough to bring the car out of balance at certain speeds or at certain angles. So in order to slide, you need these requirements. You need those minimum things in order to actually get that slide. There is a technique called a neo slide, which is not really a necessity, but it helps you to slide at any speed. But more on that later. Now we have some more ice, and here you see how to take non-bobsled corners. And it's actually kind of a déjà vu thing, so you can cue the déjà vu song here. And you basically have to completely oversteer your car, 90 degrees plus, and then countersteer. So it's actually kind of a weird mechanic, which also took me some time to grasp, because normally you don't countersteer in the corner. You want to steer into the corner, right? You don't want to countersteer. So it was very intuitive at first, but after some time it was actually somewhat predictable and somewhat easy to get done. So that ice is probably the most difficult surface of the game, I must say. I have to admit, I'm not the best ice player myself, so maybe in the summer 2020 campaign, which I'm going to be getting to in a second, I might make that one other mistake on ice, so let's take a look. Final track of training, we have Fragile at the start of the map. So the Fragile will stick throughout the entire map. The Fragile will not reset at checkpoints, it will only reset at reset blocks or at the finish line. So what I'm doing here is that I don't jump on purpose, because if you've listened to what I said earlier, landings are usually gonna make your car very, very unresponsive when it comes to acceleration and when it comes to steering. So that's not what you want. You want to take this nice and easy, and training is done. So now we have the summer 2020 and maybe some time for some donations as well.
Well, it's a good thing because they are flooding in right now.
Oh boy.
Let's go. We've got $50 from Sirius C. Say, I have to donate for my 2 favorite streamers playing 2 of my favorite games right after each other. I played TMUF a lot years ago, and thanks to Riolu's TrackMania marathon, I got back into it again and have been playing the new game since the release. I haven't watched your stream since ESA started, but so excited to see if he'll go for the risky flip or go for the safe way on Summer 16.
Oh boy.
Great one, run virtual, and good luck, Riolu. And that $50 is going towards Super Mario 64, the 70-star bonus run at the end. And keep in mind that that is an incentive that we need to get met. So yeah, I've got a few more if you've got a second.
Of course. Go ahead.
All right. Well, here we go.
What?
We're gonna crank through them. We got $5 from Sparkling W. Says, last but not least, don't forget to drink your cola. Cola gang, rise up. Also, Riolu, cut Summer 14 for me, please. We've got $50 from Mr. Velox, who says, what? Wait, no shortcut of the day. Anyway, good luck with the run, Riolu. And he's putting that $50 towards the Mario 64. We've got $30 from Virtual himself, saying, good luck for your run, Riolu, and let's go, TrackMania community. Riolu hype. Also putting that towards the Mario 64. We got $10 from, I'm going to butcher this, I'm sorry, Foyan Rata, or Fojan Rata. Says, good cause, good players. TrackMania now will be crazy, and I couldn't help but to agree. We've got another $10 from Ito, I'm going to butcher this one too, I am so sorry, everyone. Itotakini. That's the best I can do. $10 says, hey, Riolu, greetings from Frankfurt. And then finally, we've got $20 from 8B Waffle. Says, I first got into TrackMania because I saw the VOD of this last run at ESA with TM Turbo, and now I get to see him play the game we all love. Good luck for the run and go fast. And that's also going towards Mario 64. Now, I've got a handful more, but let's get back to you for a little bit and let me know when another good time is.
Sounds great. Thank you very much for the generosity, TrackMania community. Absolutely amazing. And you guys are supporting the good cause, which I'm super thankful for. It's a great opportunity to be here and to also bonk on map 2. I'm pretty sure you've seen that. That's going to be... You're probably going to laugh about that, but yeah, something weird happened with that reactor boost that kicked me to the left for whatever reason. But yeah, anyway. Let's keep going here. Another ice section. Want to counter steer full to the right here. And survive the corner to make up for a 32.95. Track number 6. So also the tracks in the Summer 2020 campaign are a little more progressive. So they do get harder. And they do get longer as well. And they do just implement more things that you can actually, well, crash at. And ruin your run with. And... you will also get to see a couple of neat shortcuts and techniques later. You guys have actually reached the donation goal or donation incentive for some shortcuts as well. So after this run is complete, I'll show you some absolutely amazing shortcuts that people have been able to find pretty much 1 month after the release. This game has been released the 1st of July, so that's pretty much 1 month at the point of this run. And people have been going absolutely crazy, I have to tell you. So if you guys are hyped up for some super cool shortcuts later on, then make sure to stick in and to keep watching as I hit the wall, and you won't regret it. I can guarantee you that. So thank you for the support, and we're gonna get back into the track here. We have a tight drift to the left here. Wanna really slam those brakes to get around the corner and avoid getting sent into the air too much. So that wallbang, a little unfortunate. One thing that they actually added in this game was also a track like this. This is basically TrackMania's modern meme. It is a downhill staircase, it is AO8, it is track number 8. Want to try to stabilize the car as well as possible, to not flip it, to just make it down the hill somehow. That was... Can we like... Okay, fantastic. I was really hoping for a good run, but I guess that is not gonna happen for me, so very unlucky here on track 8. But it's for the show, right? It's for the show. Anyway, this wallbang thing that I also wanted to talk about was another thing that was added in the new game, and that was to combat wall hits. Because TrackMania also has a competitive esports scene, which I'm also participating in, and sometimes it did happen that you got a very weird slowdown when you hit walls, or sometimes the car just flipped, and you were just sitting there being a passenger. So what the developers did is to add an acceleration penalty. So every time you hit a wall, you get an acceleration penalty for 1.5 seconds. And it penalizes your acceleration and you can't really accelerate properly. So that is something to combat wall banks. They are sometimes still viable, I have to say, but not as much as they used to be in the past. So lucky that we survived this track here on the dirt. It was quite a difficult one. But so far, so good. Track number 10. And I think here we can get out some donations if we have some.
Oh, do we ever. All right, we've got $5 from Visigold75, who says, good luck on the ice. We've got an anonymous $30 donation. We've got $25 from Archive, who says, I've been enjoying the TrackMania block so far. Make sure to show those ice tracks your cool skills. We've got $25 from Next, says, good luck on the run. We've got $23 from Hecto, who says $1 each month with the best community there is. Always there for problems, just awesome people. I can't imagine what I would do with my life without this community. Riolu
Wow.
hug. We've got $5 from Ibo, who says, good luck, Riolu. Can't wait to see your full speed run. We've got $9 from Zimty, who says, coffee at university is $1.80. So here's a week without it for charity. Thank you so much. And we've got another $30.60 from Rasta TM, who says $30 for 30 wall hits and 60 cents for a 0.6 second over the 7-minute mark on D15. Good luck, Riolu, on your run. So thank you all for your amazing generosity. Again, this has just been an absolute torrent of donations, and I do promise to read out every single one of them once we have a moment. But I'm going to send it right on back to you, Riolu.
Thank you very much. Super generous. I really, really appreciate it. You guys are supporting so much lately. TrackMania receiving a lot of hype. And here I am to thank you once again for all that support. Also, a lot of support in the previous TrackMania runs, so that is absolutely fantastic. You've seen the previous map with the ceiling hit, where you flip into the finish. I was really hoping for that to work, because it's kind of a risky strategy, actually. So I'm glad it worked out to kind of make up for the wall hits, and that slightly unfortunate track 8, that was not so amazing, I have to say. But that's what it is here. Now we have a little bit of an easier track coming up, which is mainly relying on the dirt surface, where you can do certain techniques to improve your speed on dirt. But now the real thing is coming, and that's ice. I talked about ice, I'm scared of ice. Ice is not cool, ice is everyone's nemesis at the moment. And I really hope we're gonna make this through here. We need to rotate the car to land in the bobsleigh here, in the bobsled. And then drift around the corner. One little thing that's actually interesting about TrackMania is that whenever you leave an ice surface, your wheels will remain icy for a few seconds, until the ice kind of moves away from the tires, until the ice kind of melt away. And it does impact your handling severely. So that's something you need to keep in mind as well. One of the new techniques, one of the countless new things that they added with this game. So it's actually a lot to learn, also for the veterans out here. I'm playing TrackMania for 12 years, and now I feel like I've been starting from bottom, basically, from ground zero. It's just so much to learn. And now we see another one of these new things, and that's slow motion plus Reactor Boost. I talked about the Reactor Boost already, which is making you fly or stick to the ground. And it is also bundled with a slow motion block, which we've seen on a training map before. And the slow motion block, as the name suggests, slows down the gameplay. The in-game timer, which you can see at the bottom, will remain in real time though. So if you put one and one together, you can perhaps conclude that skipping these slow motion blocks can sometimes be very beneficial. And I will get into that as well at a later point. There are some tracks that already exploit that, where you just go ahead and skip that slow motion block. Really, really crazy stuff. Now we have a little shortcut. Yes, there you go. Through the pillars, through the lanterns there. That was pretty risky, but I thought I'll give it a try. And Another slow motion, you see it here, super turbo, reactor boost up, so we're combining 3 of the things to jump into the finish. Absolutely spectacular, and that is track number 15. 16 has a shortcut, and I want you guys to put special attention, open your eyes wide open for this one. This one has quite a high success rate if I focus. If I don't, then it might fail. So let's see if it's going to work out. I will not drive the intended route now. I will decide to jump off to the side and land with my back tires to drive the track backwards. Then I will go out of bounds here. I'm going to land here on the platform and decide to drop down. And with that, I will actually skip a major part of the track. But we're not done yet because we have another big yeet, which is savable? That is not savable. We can do it again. And of course the only reason why I failed it is because I wanted to show you this new respawn thing, right? So in the new TrackMania you can respawn with speed. You can also respawn from a standstill, but you can also respawn with speed. And that's of course why I failed the jump. So now you get to see what happens when you respawn with speed. So you can basically just copy that trajectory and do it better. And that is coming in handy, especially for situations like that. Speaking of shortcuts, I have another one here up my sleeves. On the next track, the summer 2020 campaign is, sadly but interestingly enough, quite clustered with shortcuts. And I will show you one right here. I'm gonna turn around at the checkpoint and jump over the barrier and land on the dirt. And with that, I will actually skip a major portion of the track where the developers just forgot to put a checkpoint, and I will just use that to my advantage, because we're speedrunners, we're gonna go fast. So we're gonna go to the next track as soon as the game lets me, and track 18 is next, which also has a shortcut, who would have thought? So track number 18 with a very, very infamous shortcut, which actually can be done multiple ways. I will do it the easy way, because the hard way is too hard. I have to apologize. But I will show you the hard way later in the shortcut showcase. I will do the easy one. Whoop. I will tell you how exactly we're gonna do the procedure here. So we're taking speed, 2 super turbos, and then we jump. We jump. We take the reactor boost up, which is gonna make us float, but I don't want to float. I want to hit the wall, go to the left, and I'll just skip the wall. I don't want to drive it. I'm just gonna skip it to the inside. Very convenient shortcut, which might help the one or other player in here to set a faster time. And there's a much crazier approach to that, which, as I said, I will show you later on. If we got some donations, then I think this is a good time to drop a few.
All right, here we go. We've got $30 from Bibtum, who says, good luck on AO8. Sorry we didn't get to that sooner. We've got $40 from Fostrot with no comment. We've got $5 from Chris Han, who says, it's always fun to watch you play TrackMania. Greetings to the great TrackMania community. We are a family. We've got $5 from Raveout, who says $5 for Ritual's run and another $5 for Riolu's run. Go Riolu, I want to see all the cuts in the summer campaign. Got $15 from Ginroth, says go Riolu, informative and fast as always. We've got another, where are we? Sorry. We've got $6 from the Sky 1892, who says Qualitat, made in Germany. Go, go. We've got $30 from Cyberdust, who says moin moin, Riolu hype.
Moin moin.
And we've got $10 from Air Bees, who says called the face cam, pog. And
awesome.
Again, the generosity is overwhelming. We have so many donations queued up here, so I will crank through another few the next opportunity I get. But until then, back to you, Riolu.
Thank you very much. So it's just fantastic. I was here at the ESA last year for TrackMania Turbo. It was a 4-hour run, so nothing compared to the 30 minutes I'm gonna play TrackMania for now. But last year was already insane, and that is why I'm here again. This track will also incorporate a shortcut once again. However, that one is a little too difficult for me to show off. But fear not, I'll show it to you later. The last 5 tracks, we have track 21 till 25, so these are pretty much the hardest ones in the campaign. In TrackMania, the tracks are always set into different categories, into different difficulties, sorted by flags. We're now in the black flag. It's a bit like skiing, where the black tracks are the hardest ones, where there's a lot of ice and stuff, like the really difficult ones. And these are basically it. So this track, also shortcut, but also too difficult. I mean, let's just try it, right? Come on, let's try it. Let's go for it. That almost worked out. So basically what you want to do here is to slam yourself into one of these signs, and the signs are gonna launch you upwards right into this checkpoint. So you basically skip those two corners that I just drove. And another possible shortcut is to skip the slow motion part around the pillars. It is crazy what people do, and it's not really speedrun worthy or speedrun possible, because TrackMania is such a complex and difficult game that the tiniest offset is basically going to result in a completely different outcome. So I went for it. I mean, why the hell not? And we're going to go to the next track, which is actually one of the most fun ones in my opinion. This one is based on the full speed style. I think Virtual talked about it earlier. TrackMania maps are spread into different map styles, into different building styles. And this one, pretty easy to tell, refers to as full speed. So you drive really, really fast around loopings, around walls, and everything flies by so fast that the track is almost over already. As we go up to the finish line, to the vertical finish lines right here on track 22. So we have full speed, we have dirt, we have tech, which is a very drift-heavy track. We have RPG, which are story-based tracks, where the emphasis lies on pathfinding instead of actually racing. So it's more of an experience than anything else. Very, very cool. Then we have stuff like Lunatic, which are really difficult tracks. We have Trial, which, as the name suggests, are trial and error-based tracks. Very, very difficult as well. But the base campaign, as you can see, these tracks are just normal. And they just want to show you what the game is like, and they want to put you to a challenge. TrackMania also has in-game real-time leaderboards that you can compete in. So if you guys are maybe new to TrackMania, we have very, very active members hunting for the best times, including myself. So I love time attacking, and it's a pleasure to do this campaign in a speedrun. And sadly, we're at the second last track already. So this one is tech. As I said, very drift heavy, so we're gonna drift around the corners here. As I said earlier, tap or hold the brake while cornering to get around the corners as fast as possible. And that is exactly what I'm gonna do here. So we hold the brake to get around and hit the racing lines as good as possible. Maintain the speed. And we blast it around the corners. If we have one donation or two, this is the moment.
Oh, we've got many, but I'll do a couple quick ones for you. We've got 4 people here. We've got Shorty with $15. We've got Lars with 5, Ozon with 5, and Cool Chris with 5. They're all saying Ehrenmann. So thank you to the 4 of you.
Thank you, guys. Thank you very much. So that is the last track coming up now, track 25. And this one has everything. We have ice right here. Very difficult to begin with. But not only do we have one corner, but we have another one. So if you paid attention earlier, if you want to turn on ice, you need to stand 90 degrees or more than 90 degrees. And then go as rotated as possible through the corner and counter steer. So we got that done. Almost went into that. I just teased you. We went into that tree, but just almost. So we got a couple rope pieces here, tight corners. And now up some dirt, which is my favorite surface. I really enjoy driving on the dirt in TrackMania, not only in Nations Forever or in TrackMania 2, but also here. And slowly but surely, we are coming up the last few seconds of the run. We have one crucial jump where you don't want to hit that tree, and we're looking good. Last straight up, Reactor Boost, and time. That is it for TrackMania. 25 tracks in summer 2020, 25 tracks in training. This is it. It's the shortest TrackMania game in the TrackMania block here at ESA, but it was a real pleasure. What was my time actually? Do you guys have the information?
I'm seeing a 27:27.
not too shabby. I like that. So 27:27 is my final time. That is pretty solid. So there you see the replay. TrackMania 2020. It was a pleasure to run it. So thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. And before I leave, there are a few more things. So I'm going to keep myself short, but I still want to show you the stuff that you donated for. It is the donation incentive, the shortcut showcase, and I have prepared 5 replays for you. We're going to begin on track 14, and this is actually one of the craziest shortcuts I've ever seen in my life. It is the world record by Bird. He's a German player, and the game is now just quickly downloading the car skin. And all I want you is to take a look at the absolute beauty of this shortcut. Just enjoy, sit back, and I think the replay will speak for itself. So we're flipping off here. We're doing a barrel roll. But the reason for the barrel roll is this. Boing! And chuck, into the finish we go. So what Bird did here is that he put his car into a complete nosedive position doing the barrel roll. So the barrel roll was on purpose. Without the barrel roll you wouldn't be able to do this. So he barrel rolled, land with his nose down, and the resulting bounce will send his car into the air. And if you paid attention, we have Reactor Boost. You see the flames coming out of the tires here. So we have the Reactor Boost, and the Reactor Boost sends us into the air, and the setup is just perfect. He just immediately hit the finish and finishes with a 19:05, which is like, I don't know, 5 seconds faster than driving the map normally. So an absolutely crazy shortcut on track number 14. We're moving on. We have 18. Which is a replay driven by Croatian player Hefest, who is actually one of the best time attackers in the game. And I have talked about this track. I have done the easy version of the shortcut on this one, and this is the hard shortcut. This is the very ballsy approach to this track. And while the beginning is really well driven, the magic happens in the second half. So let's just keep watching here for a little bit. With the beautiful Croatian car skin, we see a bug slide around the corner. But that's not it, right? That's not it. I want you to watch. Because what you see here is Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020. This is just mad. What is this? What is this? Please, Hefest. Unbelievable. So we have this Reactor Boost indicated by the orange arrow on the ring. So it is a 90-degree turn. And then the Reactor Boost is going to push you into the direction that the front of the car is facing towards. We fly, we rotate, get really close to the pillar, to the support pillar of the road piece, and then you just bop it into the finish. So what you do here is you basically skip the entire ending. So instead of going here and take this long bowl and this long wall, you just take the sneaky way around and finish. Absolutely amazing. And really difficult. I personally have not been able to get that at all. Then we have track 19, also by Hefest. Who would have thought? Track 19, and another absolutely beautiful shortcut execution. Not only one, but actually 2. So the first one is an overwall, which is actually easier than it looks, but I wasn't comfortable enough to do it in the run, so I didn't go for it. But we have one at the start, which skips 1 hairpin on the dirt, and the second one is coming up after this hairpin. So Hefest is showing us how it's done by launching into the side and skip one very, very important aspect of the track. The reason is not to gain style points here, to, do this, but what Hefest did. You see this block here, and this block kills your engine. As I said, this is the engine off, so you don't accelerate, you just roll until you reach the next checkpoint. So, cheekily, they use these decoration blocks on the side to launch the car upwards, to make it spin around and basically just skip the engine off. So the engine stays on, and Hefest can just continue driving with much more speed, and saves 6-7 seconds maybe as well off the normal time. So another absolutely crazy shortcut in the summer 2020 campaign in TrackMania. So there's the finish line right here, and we have 2 more which are just as worthy to be seen. Hellfest, once again, with track 20, and this one is a track where the shortcut finds itself at the end. So we have the slow motion here, land smoothly, keep the grip through the corner, get a tight line around here, get rid of the speed, over the ice patch we go, and then drift around. We have another slow motion here. You see everything is slowed down until you reach the next checkpoint. So we see Hellfest blast through the track. But not only does he blast through the track, but he also blasts into this tree. And you might ask yourself, hey, Riolu, why is this faster? The reason is simple. You don't have to land smoothly in the slope. Let me get out the free camera here to display it a bit better. So what I did is I landed in the slope, and I had to slow down to go up the hill and to catch the boost. What Hellfest and other players do is they just yeet themselves into the tree. And with 360 or without, the tree basically pushes you rightwards to land perfectly on the booster and then get around the corner into the finish. So it is a small but very, very efficient bonk that you want to do. Normally you don't want to bonk a lot in TrackMania, but here it is actually really beneficial to say hello to that Christmas tree. Last shortcut, guys. Then I have to leave you already with the next amazing game in the ESA. We have a run by Nog from France, who is a very, very good player on the trial maps I talked about earlier. And here is, this is the track where I actually tried the shortcut myself, but I was not successful because the success rate is extremely low. I have like 1.5 to 2 hours of playtime on this track, and I did it once. And only once. All the other attempts went into the trees, they went out of bounds, they went into the wall, but not where I wanted to go. So Nog is on his way to do what I tried, but this time around actually with success. Hitting the sign, flip onto the road, and then finish in style with a lot more speed. Saving off like 2 seconds. So another very, very good shortcut. You see it right here, we can play it back in a 1/10 of a second here. Very precise setup. You need to hit the sign with your left front tire first, and then you bounce up and you bop it in. There's a second shortcut though that nobody has managed to put in combination with the first one. And the second shortcut, as I talked about earlier, is the possibility to skip the slow motion block. It is being indicated with this pause play button logo symbol, whatever. And what you want to do is to jump off to the left, land here, which is the start straight, and then use the elevation of the bump road to slam yourself into the dirt, and the elevation will basically make it work as a ramp, and then it will bounce you into the finish. So it is a long detour, but since you do skip the slow motion block, and the slow motion block makes in-game time run at the same time, it's only the gameplay which actually gets slowed down. You do save a lot of time, but nobody has managed to done it twice. So maybe you, if you decide to play TrackMania. So this is it for TrackMania, for the TrackMania block. It was an honor to be here, and I also have to thank all the supporters on the stream, and all the supporters for TrackMania, and the supporters for ESA for making this possible. Thank you for having me as well, ESA. Thanks to all the sponsors for making it happen. ESA, during COVID-19, I didn't think it was possible, and here I'm sitting at home streaming and bringing the content for you. So thank you very much. Enjoy the next games, and I think now we have a lot of donations to be read out.
We do. We've got a bunch of them, and I'm actually going to save those for the break so that we can
perfect,
get you going on out of here. So don't worry, everybody. I will read every donation that comes in. I've got them all queued up for us. But I just want to thank you, Riolu, for that mind-blowing run. That was absolutely amazing to watch. I want to put a huge thank you out there to everyone who has been donating, everyone in chat. This has just been a flood of support during all these TrackMania games. You guys are amazing. And with that, we're going to take it to a short break. So enjoy the music, enjoy the ad break. And once the ads are done, I will start reading out donations before we come back with Trident Tail and his run of Diddy Kong Racing. So, off to intermission. See you in a few.